Silicon Valley Bank. What happened? My name is Todd Federman. I teach economics here at the Feliciano School of Business at Montclair State University. We had the biggest bank failure since 2008 this week at Silicon Valley Bank. Let's take a look at the balance sheet and see if we can understand what happened. These numbers are all in billions. At the end of the year, December 31st, they had $170 billion in deposits, some that didn't even pay any interest. They had shareholders' equity of about $17 billion. That's not, by the way, out-of-line leverage for a bank to have this much liabilities relative to equity. Where'd that money go? But before we look where it went, let's take a look at the deposit growth. In 2018, they only had $49 billion worth of deposits. That grew to the end of 21 to $189 billion. So what does a bank do with deposits? It wants to lend it out, but with that kind of growth, it's not easy to find people to lend it to. They did lend out $74 billion, but they had two sets of securities. Securities they say were available for sale of $26 billion and hold to maturity. These were high quality US Treasury bonds. The problem is a perfect storm hit during 2022. Depositors needed their money back for two reasons. Number one, where'd this money come from? Successful Silicon Valley companies. They needed some of their money back because business turned bad for some of them. And in addition, the Federal Reserve Bank in March of 22 started raising interest rates. They could take money out that wasn't earning anything and put it into Treasury bills and Treasury bonds that had interest rates. The problem is to get the money to be able to meet the withdrawals from the depositors, Silicon Valley Bank had to sell some of these hold-to-maturity securities. But they had gone down in value because when interest rates go up, the value of bonds go down. These were all US Treasuries. They're good. They were going to be good at maturity, but they had to sell them immediately, and they lost about 8 to 10%. They came out with a statement last weekend that said they had lost approximately $1.8 billion when they sold 20 plus billion of these. There was a panic. People started to want to get their money out. The FDIC shut them down and said that they were going to make good on all deposits of $250,000 or less. The market didn't perceive that as enough, so over the weekend, the Federal Reserve Bank said all depositors are going to be good. Imagine for a minute someone like Roku, the video box people, they had $500 million on deposit at Silicon Valley Bank. Imagine the panic if they couldn't have access to that money and how it would affect their business. Multiply that by all the businesses there. So the Federal Reserve came back and said, everybody is money good, all these deposits are good. People calmed down. There was a temporary panic Monday when the market opened. People realized it wasn't the end of the world. Things calmed down. That's what happened.